Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. Okay, just want to get that out of the way. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, you are not alone. And I am so excited to have our guest today. We're joined by Jasmine, and Jasmine is the CEO of Period Superpower and the visionary behind PMDD Holistic Liberation Journey. This is going to be a good show. Okay, stick around. This is going to be awesome. Jasmine's personal journey through the challenges of PMDD, which I'll say PMDD a couple times during this intro, but I'm going to just say it's Premenstrual Dysphoric Disorder. Okay, the acronyms are okay, but you got to know what they stand for. So, okay, that is a condition that affects like countless women, but it led her to create a transformative program aimed at empowering those who struggle with this crazy, debilitating disorder. I'm sure many of you watching can understand some of the challenges of PMDD, like intense emotions, mood swings, physical pain for weeks on end, and feeling like a totally different person that you don't even recognize. Jasmine not only conquered her own battles with this crazy condition, but has dedicated herself to helping others navigate this journey with grace and strength. And I'm so excited for you to meet her. All right. Jasmine, good morning, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, good morning, Jeff. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
This is cool. This is every time I think I've learned just about everything there is to learn about all those crazy invisible conditions out there, one pops up that I go, well, nope, never heard of that. I don't know what that is. So I'm so glad that you're here because I know a little bit now, but I'm so glad you're here to shed some light on this and maybe give people some hope that maybe they were struggling with it, but they didn't even know it, So yeah, can you just let's start off, just share with us what your experience has been like with PMDD.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, and it is that invisible part, right? Nobody can see it. Nobody knows that it's here inside of us. And so, yeah, PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, is kind of like PMS on steroids. And the difference is that it's extremely debilitating, affecting every aspect of life. The physical pain, with your physical well-being, the emotional pain, the turmoil that lives inside that becomes so overwhelming. And it feels like a pot of water boiling. And it slowly builds for the full 2 weeks before our periods begin. And by the last couple of days leading up to your period, it can feel like out of control, like this whole other person turning into. And the sadness, the depression, and the hopelessness that shows up when trying to hold all of these emotions inside and talking and communicating to other people, one small thing can set off the anger and the rage that comes with it and the emotions that are being held inside. And for everybody watching, I think we all know somebody who has a period or has had a period in the past who could be struggling with this. And the piece of it that's really interesting is that it really has the mental health stigma associated with it, but it also has the menstrual stigma associated with it, right? We don't talk about periods in our society. So it
No.
leads to people feeling even more alone and isolated and not wanting to talk about it, and not even wanting to bring their own awareness to it.
Yeah. I mean, unless you live in a house with maybe your mom's a nurse or maybe you're, I mean, unless it's got like a medical kind of household, then yeah, I mean, it doesn't really get talked about unless you deliberately talk about it. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's the kicker, I mean, well, first of all, like if you have teenagers that are like coming into that whole phase of life, and
Yeah.
they're freaked out, they're like, we, that's an important thing, but you're right, it's just not talked about because it almost feels like for us, for the men out there, it's like,
Mhm.
well, I have no idea what's going on with that, so I'm just gonna not
And
talk and just
absolutely.
yeah, you know.
And with that, we don't understand ourselves. It's not talked about, PMDD. I didn't even know what it was. And because I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was, and I didn't even have the awareness of noticing that it was 2 weeks before my period, it's such a long time that it can take a lot of energy to track the emotions and the symptoms to actually get to a place of, oh my gosh, I think this is connected to my menstrual cycle.
Yeah, because it's so far out, you're like, "What the
Well,
heck is going on?" It could be anything, you know?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Hey,
gosh. Well, and it's and there's so many apps out there that's like, track your cycle and track your but even
yep.
still, even with that, it's like it almost surprises you every time,
Yeah.
It's like, "What the?" So, yeah, that's tricky. That
Yep.
can be really tough.
And
So
time
yeah.
goes by, and that's one of the things too is, we're in this cycle for 2 weeks out of the month and just hoping, okay, I can do it. I can make it. I can make it through. My period is coming soon. Just hold on a little bit longer, right? And then when we get out of that phase, it's like, oh, yes, this is amazing. I feel like myself again. Like there's so much relief and so much energy, and it feels so good. But then there's also that fear in the back of our minds where it's like, I know it's going to come back around. And it's really scary that it's going to come back around. And really trying to hold on to that feeling of feeling good because it's like, I don't want to go back into that place, but I know that it's coming. And it's like searching and fighting to not go back there. But it comes back around every time in the cycle when we don't know how to manage it properly.
Yeah, well, and this resonates with probably a lot of people with a lot of other invisible conditions because I can relate on one level in that I, I don't know when my next, like my condition, brain surgery is a regular thing. I
Yeah.
don't know when the next one's coming, you know, and so it's like, oh man, that headache that is that going to be is that do I have to go to the ER or is that just something because I didn't sleep right or I didn't, so yeah, there's, I mean, not on the same level, but I understand
Yeah.
the dread of you feel a certain thing and you go, oh no,
Yeah.
please don't let this be the thing, you
Yep.
know. So just to take a second here and just address the audience. So, okay, everybody out there, if you know, like Jasmine, like you said earlier, everybody knows somebody that has a period.
Yep.
Everybody, right? Either you are one that does, or somebody who does. This show is for you, and this is the person you want to talk to right here. This is your expert, and she will be here for the next 45 minutes or so. And so if you have any questions about anything having to do with this type of stuff, reach out. Post a question in wherever you're watching, or email, or we're going to put our contact info up here in a second. Because obviously your mission is to help people not be freaked out about this and normalize it and make sure people are okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely reach out, because you're not alone. You're not alone, and your
Right.
emotions are valid. What you're feeling is valid. You are not crazy, and you are not broken. And yes, there is a community here where you do belong, and you are seen, and you are heard. Absolutely.
Right. Totally. And I'm sure part of the mental struggle is feeling misunderstood too, right? Like, was there a time that you, like, through figuring all this out, was there a particular time that you felt like like misunderstood and isolated, and just like when you were figuring all this out? Can you just describe a time like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Back when I was married is really when I really started to notice this. When I got to the place where I actually knew how to communicate what was happening, and I knew how to communicate the support that I needed from my partner on this crazy journey.
Yeah.
And every time I was like, okay, I'm entering my luteal phase, which is the phase of the menstrual cycle where PMDD symptoms show up. It happens 10 to 12 days before your period. And so I tried communicating that and saying, I might need a little bit more help around the house. I need you
Sure.
to just be a little bit more tender with me because my body is sore and I just can't handle the same amount of stress that I normally can handle. And it fell on deaf ears. I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel seen. And I wouldn't receive that type of support that I really needed from my partner at the time. And that's when I really felt misunderstood, especially since I was communicating in all of the right ways, but it wasn't being received. Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody wants to be misunderstood anyway. That's where frustration and, all kinds of things, but especially when you add that level of pain,
Yep.
and then it's just, it just magnifies it, amplifies it.
Yeah. And it's so interesting with PMDD too, because when we feel those types of things, because it's such a feeling disorder, right? It's all based on mood and emotion. So when we feel something like that, it can send us even deeper into the spiral, feeling unloved, unworthy, unwanted. And then that inner critic in our head really starts to show up and says all of those really mean things. And that may lead us into, bad coping skills that then just continue the spiral down for the full 2 weeks.
Yeah. Listen, yeah. When you start getting into other things to try to cope with it, that doesn't make it better. It just makes it temporarily, maybe better a little bit.
Yep.
So what are some of the, speaking of this kind of thing, what are some of the myths that are often like misunderstood? Some of the myths that people have about this?
Yeah, that's such an interesting question because there are just so many myths in general about the period, right?
Right.
And how our society views just having a period. So I think there's myths around that, but I think with PMDD, just saying that it's just PMS or you're just being hormonal, because the thing about PMDD is that your hormones are actually balanced. There's nothing wrong with your hormone levels. It's your brain's reaction to the progesterone that increases in the luteal phase. So this is what makes it valid, that it's not just PMS. It is actually the brain being really, really sensitive to these normal hormonal changes that we're experiencing.
Okay. So so that's not okay. Sorry, I had to process that for a second. Because that's different. That's totally different than what I would have thought. So
Hmm.
and just yeah, okay. And so and being like I said, being misunderstood is sometimes the worst part of it, because you can't like only you live in your body, right? So you
Yeah.
it's like,
Yep.
why can't you understand what I'm feeling,
Yeah.
And oh man.
And it's
Yeah,
kind of like this. Here's the interesting thing is
yeah,
that when we're young, we're first coming into our period, we're in those puberty years, as young girls, we hear so often, oh, you must just be PMSing. Oh, your hormones
right.
are just crazy.
Yeah,
And so those things that we were taught at that young age have really followed us to this adulthood, where now when we are experiencing emotions, we invalidate ourselves just like that. Oh, my period is coming. That must not be it. So it's created this lack of trust within ourselves
mhm,
because we don't feel like we can trust our emotions, right? It's just PMS. That's what I've been told my whole life. My emotion must not be valid. I'm just experiencing something that's making me crazy. So that's the hard part is like your emotions are valid. Absolutely. And then there's this whole other mood behind it with the anger and the rage and the physical symptoms that then spiral out of control because that that inner critic in our mind just is telling us everything bad about ourselves. And so when we invalidate our emotions, it just makes that spiral that much worse.
and because it's been going on since whatever age you got that first period, and you're going through the whole, and it started then,
Yep.
and it's been building ever since then, and so yeah. God,
Yeah. And you think about all those emotions that we experienced in those early years, our teenage years, our 20s, 30s, for
yeah,
the whole time, right? We've taken those emotions and we've said, that's not valid. Everybody is telling me that I'm just PMSing. This must not be true. So we take that emotion and we shove it. We shove it deep, deep, deep down inside of us, and it sits there to brew and boil. And that's kind of what's happening is those old emotions that haven't been processed, that are just stored in the body, are coming out with this
yeah.
intensity that we are now feeling because they've just been held inside for so long.
Well, and that's really, I mean, even though that's just one factor of it, that's huge because
Yeah.
that because not being understood and being almost belittled for saying what you're saying. I mean, it's like now they're just dismissing you,
Yep.
and that nobody likes that anyway. No, I
Mm-mm.
mean, no matter what the subject is, nobody likes to be belittled and dismissed because of something they're genuinely wanting to express. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's just piling on and piling on, and oh,
Yes.
man,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's not great. Well, I I tell you what, I think we've painted a pretty good picture uh, of what this looks like and why it needs to be addressed. I mean, obviously, you are doing some amazing work here to get this out there. And I had the QR code up there for a while. Everybody, I'm going to put it back up in the second segment so that you can uh, dive into this and schedule time with Jasmine. But at this moment, I think we're going to go to a commercial, and then after the commercial, we're going to talk about um, your PMDD journey program. That I mean, okay, we know it's a thing. We're going to talk about how you can help. There is help. There's there is help. I didn't. We're not going to just leave you there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not good. So all right, everybody. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to get to good stuff. So all right, stay tuned.
The Club eFit Home Portable Gym System is a groundbreaking new system that can help everyone at any fitness level. You can be the happy, fit person you always wanted to be, and Club eFit can make that happen by helping you get the body you deserve in the time you can spare. With workouts ranging from cardio, core, to total body toning, it's easy to get started. Start taking care of you today. To make the change, go to clubefit.com now.
In a world where office workers typically receive 130 daily emails and have an 8-second attention span, CoreCentrica, with her 4 decades of international marketing experience, has partnered with the Learning Code Institute and their 30 years of neuroscientific research. Together, we are crafting unique messaging strategies that resonate, connect, and ultimately convert our target audiences. CoreCentrica, where award-winning creativity and disruptive neuroscience come together. Scan this code now, or call and click, and let us show you how CoreCentrica's partnership with the Learning Code Institute is influencing how businesses connect with their audience, foster engagement, and achieve conversions.
Hi, I'm Amy Joy, and I'm the host of Get Your Together Live with Amy Joy. And you can catch me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific on the amazing Trajectory channel right here on E360 TV.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Jasmine. Thank you for being here. This is awesome. I am I am fascinated by all of this because I've been married for almost 25 years, and my oldest daughter is 20. My youngest daughter is 14. We're we're
You're
in
in
it.
it.
Man. We're in it. It's and so this is all very fascinating to me, and everything you're saying, I'm kind of thinking like, and I'm thinking about the women in my household and going, well, okay, all right, this makes a little more sense now,
Yep.
So this is really cool. So and this is for everybody too, right? Because everybody, if you're married, you automatically this applies,
Yep.
So so this is a really, really important topic that I'm glad we're talking about it. So
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
yeah, this is great. So what when you were seeking help for PMDD, what before you kind of launched your own help program for other people, what did you find? Like what was out there that was helpful?
Yeah, I started tracking on my own because when I felt the shift, I was like, whoa, this is like 10 to 12 days before my period, like on the dot every single month. This has got to be connected. And so that's when I really started my journey of kind of researching online. And when I finally came across PMDD and I felt so seen and heard, I was like, wow, this is it. And I didn't want to make an appointment with my regular doctor because I had experienced that medical gaslighting before where I just really didn't feel believed. So I made an appointment with a women's health specialist. So I felt like, okay, this is somebody who is more specialized in women. So this is going to be where I need to go. And I was met with the only treatment options are depression medication or birth control. And I was really, really looking for something more holistic because I had tried birth control before and depression medication. I really didn't like how either of them made me feel.
You mean to try to regulate and get back to normal, basically?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Because then, so birth control kind of helps with hormones, and then depression medication because it's the receptors in the brain. So it's kind of like two different angles to come at it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so I didn't find any really help or solution through that avenue. So this is when I really went on my own of like, okay, what do I need to do to really overcome this? And this is when I found my meditation teacher training and I started meditating. And this journey of meditating and mindfulness really brought me to this awareness to my whole menstrual cycle. Instead of just seeing this one piece of it where PMDD happens, I started to look at it from a holistic point of view. And yeah,
Just I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to, you said something kind of in passing there, and I want to just so people that women are out there that want to that are wondering about this. You said you said, I'm not going to go to my regular doctor because they were just gaslighting me. Who did you find? What was the actual person that you went to that was like what specifically was it an OB? Was it who did you go to that actually listened?
Yeah, my gynecologist.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yep.
So yeah.
And that's a whole other part, right? If you are seeking help for PMDD, you might find that your primary care physician doesn't even know what PMDD is.
Yeah.
This is so under-researched and really actually pretty new on the scene. So do your research. Go with your information so that you can advocate for yourself when you do decide to go and get a diagnosis.
And don't back down. Like if
And
you're
don't back
feeling
down.
that, you're going through this, don't let somebody else go like, well, no, you're just fill in the blank,
Yep.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yep. Because and I want to point this out too, birth control and depression medication are absolutely options for people. If you are to the point where you need help and you need something, there is no shame going and getting the help that you need and you do deserve.
100%. 100%. Is that so? Are those two things like do this until we find a solution that might be more, because you don't want to be on those forever, right? Like that's not the idea, right? Not to be, you want to like that'll help you until you find a solution that doesn't require you to be on those medications. Is that the idea, or what's?
I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychiatrist, so I really can't speak to that.
Yeah.
And with where we are right now with research, there are really no other options.
Okay.
As far as medication goes.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if you were meaning that as like kind of a stopgap until you know.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because I want to just bring this up is that suicide is one of those things that can show up for people when they are in the deep depths of PMDD. And so something like depression medication or birth control can be life-saving.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And there are there are medications out there for all kinds of stuff. And I'm not a huge fan of medication in general because it can have side effects, but and sometimes those are worse than the condition they're trying to treat. But
absolutely.
But no, totally. But I mean, you're absolutely right. If it's between taking a couple meds to kind of regulate what's going on and so that you don't feel suicidal, that is 100% okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Much better. So I'm sorry, keep going. Okay. All right. I feel like but I wanted to address that. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And then let's say we add on top of it, like my program and my roadmap here. It can be extremely helpful. So I think where I was talking about the menstrual cycle as a whole, instead of just looking at the luteal phase with PMDD. So when we start looking at the menstrual cycle as a whole, we have hormonal shifts throughout each cycle. There's 4 phases to the menstrual cycle. This is something that I'm sure I learned in school, but it didn't land with me. And so
you probably didn't actually. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in the room with the girls. The boys and the girls get separated, right? And then but I don't know. This seems like way too practical and makes way too much sense to be taught in public school. So but yeah, it's super important though. There's books all over the place to talk about it, but
And so, maybe they mentioned, hey, there's 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, but what they didn't do is I never heard how each phase actually affects our daily life. Because if we think about all of the hormones that are changing throughout the menstrual cycle, they're constantly moving and shifting. So men have a 24-hour hormonal cycle. And so that follows everybody's circadian rhythm, right? We all have a rhythm of sleep patterns.
Yep.
But then menstruating people, those of us who have a uterus and menstruate, we have these 4 phases, and our hormones are changing every single day based on what phase we're in. And so when we look at the whole menstrual cycle, we start to see a pattern in our energy and our physical body and our emotions and our strengths, actually. And what we actually start to see is that the 4 phases of our menstrual cycle actually follow the same type of pattern as the seasons that we experience here on Earth with Mother Nature. And so when we start to kind of connect that and we see those patterns, we can really start to flow with the energy, because what we've been doing is we've been working against it. We've been trying to put ourselves into this box, this 24-hour box.
Yeah.
But we live like energetically. So over our 28-day cycle, we flow and move with this energy internally. It makes everything on the outside start to move and flow for us as well. And it's this mindset shift from my period is a burden to, okay, how am I going to utilize the shifts of my menstrual cycle and really start to flow with it instead of against it?
Yeah, totally. And you know what? My wife is a health coach, and so she has kind of dived into some of that a little bit just for herself,
Yeah.
like there's she's like, what the heck is going on? And so she's gotten books and different things, and there's been, so I'm not gonna lie, I've learned way more than I ever thought I would about this.
Yep.
by talking with her about this and what she's learned from these books and stuff. So you're saying this and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So
I've
it's
heard this before.
by the way, guys, it's okay to know about this stuff. All right. It's okay. It's encouraged, actually, because especially if you live with a woman in your household or more than one, I'm outnumbered.
Yep.
I have 3 women in my house. So it's to your advantage to learn about this and have a clue. So this is good for everybody.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, like as a man, when you do learn about this, you learn how to communicate with your partner. You learn more about them than you ever would have imagined that you could. And you might actually notice ways that you can help and ways that then your partner can help you, because you're working together instead of against each other. And it really, really is helpful.
And it is different in the different phases. It's like, it's like way different, obviously different. If you know what you're looking for, it is mind blowing what you can get accomplished during those different phases in different areas. So it's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
So,
and like, even, for a lot of partners, what happens is when the woman gets into her luteal phase, that really intense PMDD, she doesn't want to be social. It's her time to turn inward and to tend to her inner world, especially if this intense emotional shifts are showing up. So she may not want to go be social, and you may be like, man, let's go do this, let's go do that, I'm so excited. And you're like in this energy, but your partner isn't. That can create conflict.
yeah.
But if you know, like, when your partner is going to be in their phase where they have energy, they want to be social, and they're feeling that heightened energy, and that, you can offer to do those social events in that time more, and it changes everything.
Well, and along with that, in order to know that, there is no shame, guys, to have an app on your phone maybe that tracks that stuff. I have an app on my phone that is tracking all that for my wife. It's like, she's like, well, today, and I'm like, okay, check that box.
Yep.
And so there are things out there to help you. Take advantage of them.
Yep.
Your life will be better for it. So, and probably your marriage too. So
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's awesome. So what else? So yeah, keep going. What else is like, if somebody were to scan that QR code right now, let's do that. What if somebody scan that QR code, go to that website, are they going to be able to get because people are probably going to want to talk to you about this. How easy is it to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So when you go and scan that code and you see the site, You're going to
Yeah.
see information about PMDD, the symptoms, giving you more clarity, giving you something to look at. There's also a downloadable free cycle tracking and symptom tracking sheet that I have on the front page too. Go ahead and download that. It has how to track your cycle and how to track your symptoms. This is especially useful if you do want to go to your doctor and get an actual official diagnosis. So definitely download that. And right below that, you're going to see the PMDD Holistic Liberation Journey. And you can go ahead and click the link right there, and that will take you to my calendar, and you can book a call with me, and we'll have a free one-on-one discovery session.
Love that. Yeah, because that is, I mean, that in itself is probably therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing like, what am I going through here? And even if you just suspect maybe this is going on, you know, even if PMDD isn't the end result in your discovery, you know, what you're trying to figure out, talking with you, Jasmine, would still be hugely beneficial for anybody
Yeah.
in regards to this. So with any questions, I mean, yeah, so get on there and schedule a call for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And for all ages, you know, if you
Yeah.
are a teenager or you have a teenager who feels like they're going through this, from that all the way up into if you are starting to go into perimenopause, we're starting to understand that PMDD can actually get worse the closer and closer to perimenopause and menopause. So from all ages, yeah, I am here to listen and support and give you a roadmap.
Yeah, that's huge. And that is so comforting when you have that roadmap, right? Like it's like, oh,
Yep.
thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's typical with just about any kind of condition that's invisible, any kind of thing, you know, I don't want to say it, you know, condition, but you know, it's anything that's invisible. Once you get that diagnosis, it's almost like you're empowered, you know, it's like, okay,
Yes.
now I know what I've got. Now we can move forward and, you know, figure out how to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually take steps to get on the other side instead of just being stuck in it.
And yeah, stuck, clueless, and frustrated. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody likes to be any of those things. So
No.
yeah,
No.
it's
And
crazy.
could I talk a little bit about what the journey is like?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So the journey is layered, multiple layers, and it's really simple. There's a dashboard that you go to, and you have daily mindfulness practices. And these mindfulness practices I created to sync with your energy of your cycle, to flow with you. So every day you're listening to something that helps you tap into the energy of that phase of your cycle. So
Nice.
what you're essentially going to do is you're going to use your follicular and ovulatory energy. That's right when your period is done and it's leading up to the luteal phase. You're going to use that energy and tap into that energy to really support yourself when you get to your luteal phase, because you already know what you struggle with and how you struggle with it. So you can really utilize the different phases to support yourself later on. So you're doing that, supporting yourself. On top of it, you're learning about PMDD, what it is, how it's affecting you. You're going on that self-reflection journey to really be able to bring your awareness and your consciousness to what is happening. Where are these emotions coming from? Are they emotions that I'm experiencing right now today? Are they past emotions that are trying to move through? Or maybe is it the future overwhelm that I'm experiencing today in this moment, right? It's all of that. And so you'll go through that self-discovery journey. And then you also learn about the menstrual cycle. So the 4 phases and how to use the energy of each phase. And in this journey over the 3 months with one-on-one sessions with me, I'm here to support you the whole time. We have 10 sessions throughout the 3 months with different topics that we'll be talking about to help support you even further. And so each day you do the mindfulness practices, you learn how to handle stress better, you learn how to move and flow with the energy and use it for your advantage instead of against it. And it's just beautiful because it allows you to tap into what your journey is. You know, every menstrual cycle is different. Everybody's experience of PMDD is a little bit different. And so it is about empowering yourself in your own self-discovery journey. Because I can't tell
Yeah.
you what you need to do or what's causing the emotional uprising. That is a self-discovery internal journey. But I'm here to hold the space and to provide a safety to come to and talk about it with no judgment, curiosity, and keeping an open mind. Because that's the only way to really get rid of the shame that comes with PMDD. And that's the whole
Yeah.
goal, is to get rid of the shame and the self-judgment.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, yeah, with I, that is something also that is very common with so many people that I've had the honor of having on this show is when you're struggling with something, when you're still not sure what it is, there's got to be that safe space and that grace that can give that person to just almost just get it all out, like
Yeah.
here's what's going on. I don't know what it is, but
Yep.
that I'm seeing a common thread through a lot of conditions like that. And it's so important. And so you are doing amazing doing that because that's so important
Yeah.
so people can be.
And you probably will relate to this too. And anybody with an invisible condition or pain or whatever it may be. But yeah, the guilt and the shame that shows up after you behaved in a way that really wasn't you or in alignment with who you really want to be. And really being able to, like you said, hold that self-compassion and that empathy and really be able to say, you know what, I'm dealing with this condition. I'm noticing that I'm having these outbursts, but I'm going to give myself love and compassion anyway because I deserve
Yeah.
it. And I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to move forward in a different way so that I don't feel like I'm, a volcano erupting over my whole life.
Right. And that's important for everybody in the family or everybody in the house, right?
Yep.
Everybody that you're living around,
Yep.
to understand that too. So this program is huge for the family, really.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
so yeah.
And one more thing that I wanted to mention about it is
Yeah.
because it's all a cycle. This whole menstrual cycle is a full cycle. And so what I often see is that when people get to their follicular and their ovulatory phase, they really give their energy away, right? They're so excited to be back in that phase. They're just giving it away willy-nilly. It's great. No boundaries. Yeah, I can do everything. And it leads to like overcommitment. And then when they get to their luteal phase, they've already used all that energy and now they have none to really tend and care for themselves in that phase.
Yeah.
And so it leads to burnout every single month.
Yeah. Because they've committed to all this stuff when they were feeling awesome.
Yes.
And then, yeah. So that's an awareness thing,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
To say, okay.
Yep.
It's almost like you got to block it off on the calendar. It's like,
Yep.
don't do anything huge during,
Yep.
this amount of time because you're going to regret it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where the practices really come in, being able to every day check in. Okay, here's where I'm at today. I'm in my follicular phase. I feel really good. I have this commitment, but that's going to come up in my luteal phase. Am I really going to be in a place where I can commit to that with what I already have on my calendar?
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. I mean, it's good to have a handle on your calendar anyway.
Yep.
But let you manage the time and not the other way around. But yeah, that's extremely important. Yeah.
Yeah.
To have that handle on that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's phenomenal. Well, oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell you what, this is this is blowing my mind a little bit. This is awesome. I love this. And I hope husbands and wives and everybody else that's watching, I hope you're soaking this up because this is good stuff. Yeah. And I hope you rewatch this episode more than once because this could be valuable for the sanity of your household, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but at this particular moment, I feel like we're at a good spot to do one more commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some really cool stuff. I'm still gonna actually, I'm gonna take that down right now, but we're gonna put that back up in the third segment so that you can have. There's no excuse for you not be able to get a hold of Jasmine, and we're gonna talk about hope in the third segment, because that is also a huge aspect of all this. And so everybody stick around, and we will see you in just a couple of minutes.
Does your to-do list have you feeling stressed? Does your list include tasks like responding to email and phone calls, collecting forms and paperwork, and sending quotes and invoices? Have you been neglecting posting updates to your social media accounts, email newsletters, or content on your website? Maybe you need help to get digitally organized. I'm Selena, one of the owners at Office Mercenary, and we're a US-based virtual assistant agency. We can take care of all of these tasks and more so you can get back to focusing on the things you love about your business. Our team is happy to work with you and your individual needs. So schedule a call with us, bring your to-do list, and stop doing the tedious tasks.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hi, Eva Black Occurrence here, and I am the host of One Punch Superstars, where we meet real people who chose to fight for their hopes and their dreams and become the champions of their destiny. You can find us on Achieve TV every Tuesday and Wednesday at noon Mountain Standard Time, right here on E360 TV.
Right. Welcome back, everybody. And we are going to talk about probably one of my favorite subjects here in a second. Here, let me pop that back on there, though, so people can get in touch with you. Everybody should be scanning this QR code sometime during this show. Okay, everybody, by the way, not just the women in the audience, but the men too, because you'll thank me for it. So you'll thank Jasmine for it too.
Yes.
So, all right. So I have a question. Through all of, I mean, it's a journey you've been through it, man. It's been, I do not even pretend to understand what you've been through or how it's been difficult, but through all of that, and even on, continuing now through your difficult, when the days are hard, how do you find and maintain hope?
Yeah. So when I'm in it, I really find my hope from taking care of myself and leaning into what I need energetically. Because when we think about this PMDD and the emotions, like emotions are energy inside of us, and they're moving and they're flowing. And so anything that I can do to release the emotions out of my body through yoga, stretching, breath practices, and just taking a minute to stop and really process what I'm feeling. Because so often I'm moving and I'm going and I'm ignoring my body, I'm ignoring my mind, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. So really that stopping and really taking a check-in for what do I need now in this moment? What would feel the most supportive? And it takes building that connection, right? And that trust within ourselves to be able to get to that place of knowing what type of self-care we need. It's kind of that whole journey of self-discovery so we can get to this place of knowing what we need.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's huge. And knowing that there's something there that can help you has gotta help too,
Yeah. And a practice that's with you anytime that you need it. These practices are, once you learn them, they're available to you all the time, whenever you need it. So it's not like you have to carry a bunch of equipment with you. You are already carrying it within yourself.
I love it. And just so we have the QR code up there, we have the website up there. What is the easiest way for people to reach out and get in touch with you?
Yeah. So the website, going straight to the website and clicking that book a call. You could email me as well, Jasmine@periodsuperpower.com. Those are going to be the main best ways to get a hold of me. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, really booking a call is going to be your best option because that goes directly to my calendar. My availability is already in there. So it's just a simple couple clicks.
Nice. All right. And this is the, whoops, it's over the thing. There we go.
There we go.
Did I get that right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So there's an email. Don't even have to click on the QR code. There it is right there.
Yep.
Email. So also, I mean, we've got about time flies when you're having fun. We literally have like 2 or 3 minutes left. So in those last couple of minutes, is there, if somebody's coming to you and the first contact with somebody that's like, I think I'm going through this and I need help, what's the first thing you would tell them?
The first thing is that I believe you. I believe you and I understand what you're going through. So that's going to be the first thing. Absolutely. The other piece that I think is really important that I haven't touched on a lot that I have talked about, because it is a transformative journey, right? This journey of transformation. And so I want to touch on that a little bit because this whole point of the transformational journey is not only learning these coping skills to really be able to get your life back, but the transformational piece of this journey is really being able to believe that you can get on the other side of this and setting your mindset towards the vision. And when you work with me, our vision that we co-create together is healing on the other side. So we don't visualize where we are today. We visualize where we want to be. And then we together come up with the steps that you need to get there. And so that's the shift in this journey, is shifting from the mindset. And we know it takes time for our mindset to actually shift, right? That's why this is a 3-month journey, because we are shifting the perception in the mind. From the period, my period is dirty, it's annoying, it's gross, my emotions are out of control, I'm too emotional, I'm a burden, to I have a cycle that has 4 phases. And I am going to cyclically live in sync with this cycle. And there are gems within each phase of the cycle that I can tap into that are my superpower, which is why I named my business Period Superpower in the first place, because that's what I'm here to do. I am here to help women break free from the mindset that we have been conditioned to believe about our periods, to a new reality of living in sync with this energetic system that we have.
Love it. Yeah, it's awesome. I hope that everybody watching contacts you immediately, because this is so huge. And I'm so glad that we got to do this, because it's been educational for me too. I mean, I knew a little. Now I it's like, okay, this is good. This is all right.
Yeah.
So I hope that you guys do too. Okay, men, women, everybody. I hope this has been educational and informative and awesome for you as well. And it's only going to get better, because you're going to reach out to Jasmine and she's going to help you. So, so thank you so much for being here, Jasmine. I so appreciate it. This has been so important of a topic to get out there. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so honored to be here. This has been so fun.
Awesome. All right, here we go, everybody. this was good. I'm not gonna lie. I learned a couple things. If I hadn't learned something, I'd be worried, I guess. So man, this is so cool. I hope everybody really does reach out, because this is such a cool and huge topic that everybody should be learning about. By the way, if you liked this episode or loved it, share it, because there's probably somebody else that could use the information. Share it, share it, share it. And if you have another favorite episode, share it, because it might be somebody else's too. They just don't know it yet. They haven't seen it. So share. And thank you for being here. I so appreciate you being here. And join us for our next show, which will be Tuesday, April 16th. Oh Lord, that's the day after tax day. Oh man. See, let's not think about that. But yeah, we'll see you that maybe that'll be a day of a sigh of relief. We're done, till next year, right? All right, everybody have an amazing day, and we'll see you on the 16th.